Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Miriam. Make sure to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And so we're going to be talking about a serious topic of protecting yourself against child abuse, you guys. And so recently an imam by the name of Wisam Sharieff, which was a well-known imam in the Muslim community who worked for Al Maghrib Institute, but you've probably seen him on a number of YouTube videos. He did lectures all over the world on Islamic topics, including becoming a Hafiz, memorization of the Quran. But he has been arrested on charges of trying to get child videos, child explicit content from a mother and her child. And so sadly, it seems that he was trying to take advantage of a new convert, a mother and her child. And so I'm going to just briefly read the article and talk about how you can protect yourself. And so no matter what religious community that you're a part of, because I know a lot of times people become Muslim, they go to the Muslim community thinking that these things do not happen. Regardless of what community that you're a part of, you still have to be safe, you have to be security minded, and make sure that no one is trying to do anything that is bizarre and inappropriate. And so you have to realize these predators are on the hunt, and they are normally looking to take advantage of people that are in vulnerable situations. They're oftentimes looking to target women specifically that are in single parent households in which there is not a protector, in which there is no presence of a father or oftentimes other men, right? And they are looking to take advantage of children. And so this can be anyone. This can be a random stranger. This could be the neighbor down the street, or this can be someone who is a religious authority. And so this is why it's so important for the law to be very strict and throw the book at these crazy people to discourage others from getting involved in this, okay? Because regardless if something happened to this man, this is deviancy and very bizarre behavior, right? And so federal authorities have charged a prominent Islamist online educator in Alabama with a conspiracy to produce child explicit videos in a complaint issued on October 29, 2024. The FBI accused Wisam Sharieff, a Quran recitation instructor for the Houston-based Al Maghrib Institute, of encouraging a woman and her underage child whom he had met at a conference in Georgia to produce sexually explicit videos which were transmitted via telegram. According to an FBI affidavit, Sharieff's wife called law enforcement officials in Alabama after discovering explicit texts and videos on her husband's phone. The Al Maghrib Institute, where Sharieff led a dawah campaign called Quran Revolution, announced his dismissal soon after the charges became public, stating on X that the victim was not a student at the organization. And so I really commend, and I'm very proud of his wife for reporting this. And so this is so important. If you see friends, family, anyone that you know, a coworker with material on their phone, on their computer, anything that is not appropriate, that shows harm or abuse to a child, you need to report that to law enforcement immediately. Okay, we all as a community have to work together in order to keep our children safe, and we all have to do this. And so I'm sure this is not the only case. This is not the only person. These people become very emboldened in their crimes, and as time goes on, they continue to do more and more. Damage control not working. Al Maghrib officials also declared that Allah's religion is not reliant on any one individual, and the Quran Revolution program will continue with our students as scheduled. They also reaffirmed the school's long-standing policy of zero tolerance for instructors having any romantic relationships with their students. The response backfired, elicited hundreds of derisive comments on X. This is a horrible reply, one commenter responded. This disgusting individual didn't have a romantic relationship. He took advantage of a minor. This isn't a policy violation, but a crime against both Allah and the law. The prominent Islamist publication Muslim Matters, which had previously promoted Sharieff's idea, also issued a statement expressing its horror over the charges against the Imam, declaring the alleged actions are unspeakable, betrayal of trust, and abhorrent abuse of power, violating the core values of our faith and our community and basic human decency. And so I don't know how old the child was. In the complaint, it probably does state. So now, in terms of the response, that was not an appropriate response. Now, as you guys know, in Islamic law, someone of a certain age is not necessarily a child in Islamic law, but that is no longer the time or place to say this is a romantic relationship or not a romantic relationship, right? As a Muslim, if you are living within a Muslim society, right? Or excuse me, if you're in a non-Muslim society, you are agreeing to live under the laws of that land. Even though in Islam, a girl is considered an adult as soon as she menstruates, I don't know if this child was menstruating or even of that age, but to state that this is a romantic relationship as is to imply that it was consensual or even if it was somehow permissible, right? And so this was not acceptable whatsoever to have such a response, right? And if anything, it's a dismissive response, and it's a response that more so sides with the predator, okay? And so regardless, this is zina. This person committed adultery. This person was involved with people that were not their spouse. And the fact that, again, the school would comment, well, we don't believe in people being involved in romantic relationships, totally disregards the fact that this was abuse. Okay. And so here in the Western society, children are considered the age below what is normally 18, but it can be 17 or 16 depending what the age of consent is, depending on the state. And that has to do with the fact that a child or a younger person does not have the intellectual ability nor the life experience to be able to make informed decisions with an older adult, right? And so in those kind of situations, people can be taken advantage of. And so that is why it's not socially acceptable for someone of a younger age to be in a relationship with someone that is older, because older people can take advantage of someone who is younger because their lack of experience and just their mental faculties, right? Their critical thinking skills, their brain has not even completely developed. Their hypothalamus has not completely developed. And so, to call into question, again, that's just ridiculous. And so, that's just absolutely insane that they would issue such, it's just, I wonder who did that, and I wonder who released that. Because again, sometimes you're dealing with people that are just so technical when it comes to like religious law, or not even originally from the West, right? That they don't understand that if this child, most likely I'm sure was under the age of 15, is not allowed to be here in relationships with someone of age. It's not just simply, okay, they were having an affair. That would not be just simply having an affair here in the United States. That person is involved in inappropriate activity, right? That person would not just be, producing movies. That would be considered abusive content. And so there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done there. Okay. Texas Islamist Abu Najim bin Al-Iskandar has also weighed in on a controversy, declaring on X that the problem is not as some alleged. Al-Maghreb's failure to maintain gender segregation in its program, but a pervasive tendency to protect abusers in Muslim institutions. Wisam Sharieff has been darling of American Muslim organization in the U.S. for over a decade. Is understated. It is simply not possible that he's guilty of the charges mentioned in the affidavit, while no one suspected his proclivities. What I know of American Muslim organizations is that they constantly cover for members of their networks and clubs. Wow. So he's saying that there's a lot of sexual abuse going on that is being covered up. Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay. El Maghrib, other controversies. Sharieff's arrest represents one in a long line of controversies for the Al Maghrib Institute, a Houston-based Salafist educational organization established by Canadian-born scholar Mohammed Al-Sharieff in 2002. Al Maghrib, which promotes itself with the slogan "A life-changing experience," describes itself as the largest academic center in the Western world focused on classical Islamic sciences, offering bachelor's degrees in Islamic studies. Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, who tried to detonate an explosive device he hid in his underwear to blow up a Northwest Airlines plane in 2009, attended classes offered by the institution. Salafist Imam Yasser Qadhi, who served as academic dean for the institute for 15 years, once declared that Jews and Christians are the most evil of all evils. Sharieff himself reportedly studied with Pakistani Imam Ishar Ahmed, who founded extremist South Asian movement Tanzim el-Islami. Ahmed, a leading supporter of the Taliban and other violent extremists in South Asia, has spoken before a Western audience referring to Jews as a cancer and an enemy of Islam who do not take advantage of the opportunity to repent, which is why they are afflicted by great calamities. And the example is what happened to them at the hands of the Germans. The hands of Tanzim el-Islami's branch in the United States, the Islamic Organization of North America, only supports the imposition of Sharia law and the destruction of liberal democracy. In 2017, an undisclosed number of women accused another of Ahmed's followers, prominent Islamist Imam Numan Ali Khan. I remember him, right? A lot of people were saying that they were flirting and promising marriage and was trying to court them for nikah, using his position to lure and groom women to sexual relationships under the guise of secret marriages. And so I do remember that. And so I will have a link to this article down below. And so now when it comes to adults, right, as adults, you guys know, according to Islamic law, what you're supposed to do in order to protect yourself. You're supposed to have gender segregation. You should not be interacting with men of the opposite sex, ideally without your mahram present, right, with the male relative, or without it being in a public setting. I know some people are converts and they do not have a male representative. Now, when it comes to your children should not just be left unattended, right, just alone with people. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're a religious scholar. You don't know these people. Right? And so you never know who someone is until after the fact that then something happens. And so is that he probably is sharing this stuff with other people and other known offenders. And so these people have a problem and they interact with other people that have a problem, like a network. But this is crazy if you have so many people, because, right, when we think about abuse, a lot of times you think about, oh, that's a Catholic problem, right? Or you think it's a Christian problem, or you think it's a Western problem. Because a lot of different other religions, especially like the church, they are not necessarily as, to become a pastor, you don't necessarily have to have gone somewhere and got a 6 or 8 year degree, right? Like if you're not really invested or in it, you could have still took a couple weeks, took a 2 year. There's some churches that you can become a pastor just by volunteering and you can make your own church. Obviously, being an imam, normally you have had to go to school in Saudi Arabia or gone to Islamic studies, right? And you've had to have a certain level of Quran, a certain level of Arabic. And so it's a lot of devotion, a lot of education. And so you would hope people who would devote so much studying, right, that of a PhD level of studying, significant studying to such a thing, would not still be doing all that and still have time to participate in the foolishness and debauchery. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this was children or adults. This person has a problem. If you have time to make videos of anything and be distributing stuff, and you claiming to be a religious man of God, and you're still trying to teach people how to read and recite the Quran, and you're going around doing all these lectures and doing all these events, how many children have you abused all over the world? So definitely, you guys, be safe, be careful, right? Even if you're doing these online classes, because a lot of people think, okay, if my child is doing something online, they're going to be safe, right? No one can physically harm them. People can expose themselves to your children online. They can ask your children while you're not there to do things. So don't just sit there and just leave your children unattended in front of these screens with these people, because there's a lot of people that will offer Quran services, right? They're not scholars at all, long alone scholars, and people who have gone to school for this or learning how to speak Arabic. Don't just look at it as a way to check out, okay, you're going to do this for an hour. I'm going to just leave. This is my break for an hour. And this person is, doing this day after day. Because some people are out here with these people online for several hours a week. And they will groom your children and they will take advantage of your children. So please be careful. Please be safe. Like this video. Go on and share it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.